Nose upturned, head held high, 14-year-old me marched out of the building because how dare they? The other kids on my dance team had just stolen my spotlight. I didn't even get a turn to do the cool tricks. Feeling slighted, my friends and I felt isolated from the rest of the team. We thought we had been in charge, but clearly we weren't. I don't think I need to finish the story for you to get the idea that I was not the most pleasant 14-year-old. I thought I ruled the world and dictated who was cool and who was not. But boy, was I in for a rude awakening. Now, over the last 4 years, I've changed a lot and have realized that one group trying to decide who's cool or not actually creates an unhappy environment. Through lessons from my younger years, I feel like I'm finally developing a sense of belonging and inclusion and what it means to me. I believe this all starts with learning how to begin. I want you to remember this phrase. A B, belonging, E, environment, G, generates I, inclusion, N, now. A belonging environment generates inclusion now. First, to understand this phrase, I think we need to define the difference here between belonging and inclusion because of how similar the words are perceived to be. Belonging, according to vocabulary.com, describes it as, quote, a sense of fitting in or feeling like you are an important member of a group. Belonging is happiness felt in a secure relationship, close quote. So belonging is about security and importance, and inclusion is going to be defined as providing equal access and opportunity for all. It's about helping as many as you can to feel welcome. Let's start with belonging. How do we come to feel like we truly belong somewhere? Do we ever actually feel like we fit in? I believe everyone has some form of the inferiority complex. To some extent, everyone feels inadequate, out of place, or insecure about where they stand. But belonging is achieved when we feel a sense of security in something. So, how do we best achieve that? True belonging is going to start with yourself. Someone else can be trying so hard to get you to join them or feel welcome, but if you never allow yourself to let go of insecurities, you'll never gain security. When I first became friends with most of my friends, we had rocky relationships. You know how I mentioned being a terrible 14-year-old. But one time we were all at a play practice together and something clicked. I had an easy time talking to these kids and I learned I really liked them. After this, we started talking and suddenly I found myself a part of the friend group. At first, I didn't feel like I belonged. But once I put those feelings of inadequacy aside and let myself belong with them, I found my best friends and have been with them ever since. Sometimes all it takes is deciding that you deserve to be here and you deserve security and happiness, and I promise you it'll come if you just try. Then comes inclusion. Inclusion will always follow belonging. Why? Because you can never have complete inclusion, ever. Inclusion is about making every single person feel welcome and invited, but you as one individual cannot keep track of if everyone feels welcome or not. For example, I don't know if anyone else did this when they were young, but I know I had around 30 stuffed animals. Well, every night, I didn't want to hurt any of their feelings, so they all got to sleep on the bed with me so none would feel left out. Well, I discovered the issue with this thinking when I crawled into bed and had no choice but to lay on top of half of them because pushing them aside would push them off the bed, and I couldn't do that to any of them. So, night one, I suffered with all those noses, mouths, arms, and legs poking my back. By night two, I realized some of them had to go, and I couldn't include all of them all the time. In our everyday lives and situations, we cannot include everyone and everything all the time. Complete inclusion is impossible to achieve on its own. Which is exactly why, if we want to create a welcoming, wholesome environment, we have to learn how to begin. By creating a belonging environment, we can generate inclusion now. And all of this starts with yourself. By making yourself approachable and friendly and helping the environment around you to feel the exact same way. Talk to those around you. You don't have to be best friends, but by helping someone else feel welcome, you're one step closer to that belonging environment. Through this as well, inclusion will naturally follow. When people start to let go of the ideas that they're not welcome or not enough, more and more people will start to flock towards you and what you've created. Inclusion is bringing in the masses and letting anyone in. And by simply showing acts of kindness to those around us and helping them feel like they belong, that's how we begin. That's how a belonging environment generates inclusion now. No matter how scary it can sometimes be for me to talk to someone else, I've learned how to help myself belong in situations. I thought I had it figured out when I was 14 and ruled the world, but realized that I had actually isolated myself and wasn't allowing myself to fit in with everyone else. Once I ditched my crazy, egotistical 14-year-old mindset, I was able to find my best friends because they helped me feel like I belonged and I finally allowed myself to belong. So I encourage you to seek out the areas and ways in your life where you can help others to belong, or find ways that you yourself can change your mindset and allow yourself to belong. A belonging environment generates inclusion now. It begins with you. Thank you.